Just you and me. Once there was a little gosling goose, and her name was Little Goosey. One day, Little Goosey and Big Grand Goose looked after her, set out to walk down the river. They hadn't gone far when the wind began to blow. Grand Goose looked up at the dark clouds racing across the sky, and said, "A storm is coming. We better find a place to hide." "A nice warm place? Just for me and you?" said Little Goosey. "Just us," said Grander Goose. "A place where we can rest until the storm is over." They hurried into the woods looking for a place to hide. "Will there be thunder when the storm comes?" asked Little Goosey. "Well, yes, there could be some thunder," said Grander Goose. Soon they found a hole in the ditch, but there was someone in there already. A small gray-whiskered mouse. She was hiding from the storm, too. "You can stay in here for me if you like," said the mouse. Little Goosey whispered to Grander Goose, "I don't want anybody else when the thunder comes. Just you and me and you." Grander Goose thanked the small gray-whiskered mouse. "It's a bit too damp for us here," he said. You're very kind, but I think we'll look for somewhere else. Goodbye." When the other two gone, the mouse saw some wet moss growing up the walls. "It is a bit damp down here," she thought to herself. "I'll look for a better place, too." Little Goosey and Grander Goose went farther into the woods, looking for a place to hide. They found a hole among the roots from a tall tree, but there was someone in there already, a squirrel with a high, proud tail. "Would you like to stay here with me?" said the squirrel. Little Goosey whispered to Grander Goose, "But I don't want anybody else. Just me and you." Grander Goose thanked the squirrel with a high, proud tail. "I can see daylight above our heads," he said. "You're very kind, but I think we'll look somewhere else. Goodbye." When the other two gone, the squirrel looked up and saw the sky through the trunk of the whole hollow tree. The rain could easily run in through the hole. He thought to himself, "I'll try to find a better place, too." Little Goosey and Grander Goose ventured farther to the woods. They found an interesting cave among the rocks, but a rabbit with a furry ears had found it before them. "We could all stay here together if you like," said the rabbit. Little Goosey nestled into the softest feathers of Grander Goose and said quietly, "I don't want there to be anybody else when the storm comes. Just you and me." Grander Goose thanked the rabbit with furry ears. "There are too many stones for us here," he said. "You're very kind, but think we'll find somewhere else. Goodbye." When the other two had gone, the rabbit couldn't find a space to lie down comfortably. It is too stony here, she said, thought to herself. I'll look for a better place too. Little Goosey began to feel tired after all that searching for a place to hide, but then found a hole behind a bush at the bottom of a hill. This looks like a good place to be out for a storm, said Grander Goose. There's no one here. Just then, yawned, just us, yawned Little Goosey. She made a tunnel under some blown-in leaves so she couldn't hear the thunderstorm if it came, and she lay down to sleep. The storm arrived. A great wind blew through the trees, and rain came down. In the fields and the woods no one could been seen, for they were all hidden from the storm. The dark clouds passed over. The wind died down. Soon the sky were clear again. Little Goosey blinked in the ray of the sunlight shining into the hole. Then she heard someone behind her. This was a good place to hide from the storm, said a small, gray-whiskered mouse. It was good, agreed the squirrel with the high, proud tail. A very good place to hide from a storm, said the rabbit with furry ears. The mouse, the squirrel, the rabbit waved goodbye, then ran into the woods. This was a good place to hide from the storm, Little Goosey laughed, for all of us. Grander Goose looked out at the trees, still dripping after the rain. It was good. And now I think we all walk down to the river, he said. Just us? Asked Little Goosey. Grander Goose smiled and said, just you and me.